Hi y'all. Sorry if you can hear someone snoring. They're sleeping above my place of recording and it's like 11:10ish. So anyways, this is why I think Byakuya Togami is the best Danganronpa antagonist. This will only encompass the three main games. Technically, Juzo Sakakura is an antagonist from the anime, same as Kyosuke Munakata. And I think they're about the same level as Byakuya, which, yes, I will be pronouncing his name as Byakuya, as Peko Pekoyama's amazing English voice actress is actually half Japanese, as in, she is more Japanese than you and I. Therefore, she most likely knows how to pronounce the Japanese name correctly. Shocker. I'm not saying because she's half Japanese she has to, because I don't know that much about her. She could, for all I know, her mom's Japanese, but her mom moved here and she doesn't speak the language. I don't know. Anyways, first, let's get this clear, since some of the fandom is dumb and don't know what an antagonist is. I'm talking to you, woman, on Instagram, who you and your husband said that Byakuya is not an antagonist. An antagonist is defined as a person who actively opposes or is hostile to someone or something, an adversary. The keywords here are actively and adversary. Let's go over those words. I could not find the actual definition of actively, but to sum it up, it's basically you're doing something constantly. For example, you could say to someone, you are actively being a bitch, or you could say, you are constantly being a bitch. They are the same thing and carry the same meaning. They're just changing a couple things in the sentence. So actively means that it's constantly happening throughout the story, or it's almost constantly happening throughout the story. And then adversary means one's opponent in a contest, conflict, or dispute. The Killing Game is technically a contest. The class trials could be classified as conflicts or disputes. Now that we know what an antagonist is, we can leave second grade and go with the big people now. And let's get this straight, I'm not playing favorites for Togami. In fact, my favorite antag is Nagito Komaeda, and Byakuya isn't even in my top 6 characters, as last time I checked, he is not a Kane Awari, Mahiru Koizumi, Hiyoko Seonji, Aoyase Hina, Hajime Hinata, nor Miwaruma. And I also don't hate him, he's just in the middle. But now let's actually dive into why I think that story-wise he's better than the two. I also want to point this out here, it's not in my original script, but Byakuya I think fits the personality type of a this right here, Machiavellian, I don't know how you fucking pronounce it, I'm so sorry. Basically, he's going to do anything to win, regardless of what the outcome is, if that makes sense. Another example of a character who shares this personality trait would be like Azula from Avatar The Last Airbender. Both these characters have no regards for morals. As long as they come out on top, that is what matters to them. And I'm going to explain why I don't think that Kokichi is good in that sense. Okay. 1. He actually helps the fucking class trials. Like, this is an actual serious point. He's the only antag to actually help progress the trials. The other two are literally just Hope and Mew, you fat ugly bitch ass whore pig, go kill yourself, teehee. These by any means aren't very good, and one of them does make the trials interesting, Nagito. And the other was there because Kodaka realized that he may never ever make a mixed race darker skinned woman the antagonist. Shout out to Angie, who should have been the antagonist. And yes, Byakuya does do his fair share of disturbing the trials, mainly only in case 2, but unlike the other two whose actions are presented in a good light, what Byakuya did was not justified in the game. The game doesn't tell you, wow, you should do this. It's like, he did it, does that mean we support him that you should do it? No. But with the other two, they go, look how cool is this? Or this is. Anyways, let's get on to my next point. He actually has a reason to act the way he does. Nagito also does, but Byakuya is very cold and calculated. As a member of the Togami family, he reveals that they basically all have to do a final fight to see who would make it to the top and become the heir, whilst the other family members, aka his half-siblings, would be shunned by him and the other family members. And I want to add, unlike the other two antagonists who are cold-hearted monsters, Byakuya does have something that actually humanizes him, being his older sister Shinobu Togami. It's revealed within the light novel Danganronpa Togami that she is alive, and I do believe it's also revealed that she was his closest sibling. Technically, Danganronpa Togami, from the timeline with Danganronpa Togami, Sonya Nebamindo is the main villain and a despair during that time, so it's safe to it's basically safe to assume that this story takes place sometime during Ultra Despair Girls and Ultra Despair Hagakure, when they take place time-wise. And I do know that Junko does say in the first game that all the Togami family members are dead except Byakuya. She could have forgotten Shinobu. in the novel, I know the first chapter they're in Prague, which is in the Czech Republic. So within the novel, they are the main characters taking on the world, or rather, the White Woman. Many people like to claim that Shinobu was his abuser, when this is flat out wrong. I believe it was one of his older brothers. I think out of all of the older brothers, though, I think it was either Ichiro or Jiro, which, yes, their names do translate to first son or one son, then second son or two son, who made comments about him. And even Shinobu, we know that Byakuya holds her to some standard, because I do believe he actually won the Togami family, heir thing. She refers to herself, and I'm pretty sure he also calls her Shinobu Togami. But it's specifically stated that the losing members of this battle no longer get to call themselves Togamis. Yet I'm pretty sure he still calls her one. And she's even his fucking secretary. She's the ultimate secretary as well, and he still views her as his big sister. But who does Nagito have? Nagito's parents are dead, Chiaki and Chisa are dead, and his class has zero reason to actually like him. And who does Kokichi have? He was rude to Miu, threatened/blackmailed Kaito, revealed Maki's talent, harassed Kibo, killed Kirumi, Gonta, Miu, and Kaito, and indirectly killed Ryoma, told a sobbing Himiko that she killed her two and only friends. He doesn't believe in Anji's god, he angers Korekiyo, he bugs Shuichi and Kaede, and he's an overall nuisance to Samugi. The literal characters I haven't mentioned that Kokichi could somewhat be on good terms with from V3 are Rantaro, who's the first character dead, and Tenko, because unlike everyone else, her views are inherently against Kokichi. Whereas the other ones, he could choose to do something or to not do it, basically. He could believe in Anji's god had he wanted to. What makes Byakuya better is that he is fundamentally a human, albeit cold and calculated, but a human nonetheless. Whereas Nagito and Kokichi are exaggerations. They are something or somebody you will never ever meet. And if you do, you'll fucking punch them. Point 3. He actually survives the game and develops as a person. I know this is very unpopular. The other two do not do this. They both die and they stay the same character they were at the beginning of their story, which I find extremely odd, as Akane Owari and Himiko Yumino, two of the more side characters who only have appearance in one chapter of their games, Chapter 4 of DR2 for Akane and Chapter 3 of DRV3 for Himiko, develop. Now let's get back to Byakuya. I'm not the shit stain in Nagito and his development. Although it may be subtle, you have to remember that out of every single character, Byakuya is tied for making the most appearances in the Danganronpa media, with him appearing in Trigger Happy Havoc, Super Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, Danganronpa V3, Killing Harmony, Danganronpa 3, The End of Kibogami Gaku and Mirai Hen, and Danganronpa Togami, which is 5 actually. Really, the one downside to his development is in Chapter 4, when Aoi frames herself as the killer and Byakuya doesn't understand, and Kyoko tells him that not everyone bases their actions around calculations and cost-benefit diagrams, which shocks him, which is honestly why I think that Asahina is a better foil to him than Naegi. I would make a video on its own if you really wanted me to talk about that more. And it genuinely seemed that he would start to learn and care about others, but immediately after that he went back to I am a robot, which really sucked. If you guys want to hear more about him, go watch, is it Lai? This person's video on him. I know, I also forgot about something. I was going to mention the personality type where they basically don't care about morals and they want to get to the top. The reason why I think that Kokichi sucks at this is because who he keeps around and who he chooses to kill. For example, the people he killed, being Kirumi, Kaito, Miu, and Gonta, are some of the people he should have kept alive. Whereas the other characters, such as Himiko, or, I don't know, mainly just fucking Himiko. No offense, but, Himiko is lazy, she's lethargic, she doesn't give two shits about anyone or anything. She barely helps during anything. She's useless during the first two trials. The third one I can't excuse her for, because your best friends literally got murdered, and now you're realizing the weight that you're never going to see them ever again. But, why would he keep her around when then goes off and kills smarter characters like Miu and Kirumi, or characters who are very good at fighting, such as Gonta and Kaito? And hell, if you wanted to take on Monokuma, you'd kinda need Miu to upgrade Kibo some more. For all you know, she could fucking make Kibo into a bomb or something. That would be a cool idea. That could end the killing game. And guess what? No one would fucking die. Kokichi's plan does not make sense because he actively kills off the people that matter. Whereas, no offense, Nagito actually makes sense in what he does. All three of the villains can be viewed as this type of personality, whatever it was called again. But guess what? Kokichi really is a bad representation of it, if that makes sense. Whereas Nagito, like, the first chapter, he was trying to kill someone, and fun fact, if his plan had succeeded, he would have killed Hajime, so, and if he had gone for a double murder, it would have also been Hiyoko, I believe, who would have also been killed. But the first two people that die in Super Danganronpa 2, because of Nagito's luck, technically, are the imposter, who is not very useful story-wise, and Teru, whose only trait up till like 5 seconds before his death was how perverted he was. Whereas Byakuya doesn't actually kill anyone and isn't responsible for anyone's death. Sure, he outs Genocide Jack and, by extension, Toko, but as shitty as that is, that doesn't result in anyone's death. Chihiro already died beforehand. He did not have to kill anyone to get that secret out. And even then, Byakuya tried his best to keep around people that would make sense, if you know what I mean. Makoto, as a super high school level good luck or lucky student, he has the power of luck on his side. Genocider Jack is a fucking serial killer. Aoi Asahina, although she might be short, she can pack a punch. Yasuhiro Hagakure, Weed Man. Kyoko Kirigiri is very smart, along with Byakuya Togami himself and Toko Fukawa. Really the only character that, all the characters I mentioned that survived, Byakuya had a reason to. And if Sakura was not the traitor, he probably would have wanted her to survive as well for her strength. Whereas Kokichi, he kills off the characters who are actually useful to him, but then keeps the other ones alive or has nothing to do with their death. Examples of this include Rentaro Kaede, Angie Tenko, Korekio, Himiko, Shuichi, Samugi, Maki, because no offense, Maki's an assassin. She's probably going to be from far away when doing things, not up close fighting. And like, Samugi's a cosplayer. What is she gonna do? Cosplay someone to death? Like, ultimately, if you were in Kokichi's position, would you rather kill off the super genius inventor who can basically invent something within 3 fucking days that most people take a couple weeks to do, or the girl who can only cosplay fictional characters? Who would you choose to escape? Because if you have 3 brain cells, you are going to choose the inventor woman, not the cosplayer. If you had to choose between the lazy and lethargic girl who does nothing and didn't help out during 2 class trials, or the super buff, smart bug dude who can get enraged easily if you just tell him that someone doesn't like bugs, who are you going to keep around? Because it's not going to be the fucking lazy girl. I'm so sorry, but it's not. Who are you going to keep around? The anxious detective who can't do anything, or the smart maid who has full confidence in herself? Probably the smart maid. That's just a fucking thought. Like, I genuinely think that Kodaka realized that he didn't have any actual reason to kill off Ryoma, Kirumi, Miyu, Gonta, and Kaito, so he was just like, yeah, Kokichi, you can do it. Like, this is me ranting about Kokichi, but anyways, this is why I think that Byakuya is the better antagonist of the 3 main antags, and yeah, anyways, go watch, I think her name is Lele Vibes. Go watch her video. I'll link it in the description if you haven't already seen it on Byakuya and his development. She goes way more into depth. I'm just here to talk about why I think that Byakuya is the best antag. Even though, like, if I do like Nagito more, like, I know this might not make sense, but if you're wondering, I do like Nagito more, but, like, hi, this is probably cut really weird, but like for some reason a video just randomly started playing. Basically what I was on about is like, I did mention that I do like Nagito more than Byakuya, but like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I think as a character, Byakuya does what he needs to do without being super extra and in your face and annoying like what Nagito does, but I think as a person, Nagito is more interesting, and as a character, Nagito is more interesting, if that makes sense. Like, Byakuya does what he needs to do, and is somewhat interesting, whereas Nagito is kind of over the top in what he needs to do, but he's interesting, if that makes sense. Like, both do what they need to do in their story, but ultimately I find Nagito more interesting than Byakuya, but I can appreciate and recognize that Byakuya is a better antagonist, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how to describe it without me kind of sounding hypocritical, but like, Nagito is very good like he's very well written as a human, and you can like sympathize with him and stuff. And he does have humanity like Byakuya. I just didn't really touch upon it, but as a character, Byakuya fits and does the role better, if that makes sense. Anyways, bye. Go watch Lele Vibes' video, and I don't know. Yeah. I also forgot to mention this. Instead of doing the Hope's Peak Academy, not just Danganronpa timeline, that was too long for me. I decided not to do it. I might just upload the Google document, honestly, but yeah, I'm sorry if you guys actually wanted to see that. Instead, I'm doing this Byakuya one, so there's that. Bye.